Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Sightings has in its possession authenticated Defense Department memoranda, which state in no uncertain terms that military personnel sighted UFOs over 3 different nuclear weapons storage facilities in 1975. At least one missile was compromised by what one DoD memo describes as clear intent. Ufologists believe that the damage was much more extensive and that our entire nuclear arsenal could have been the victim of extraterrestrial sabotage. In the 1960s and 70s, these images of a vast underground security network allowed America to sleep at night, a security blanket of nuclear weaponry poised at the ready. But in the fall of 1975, someone, or something, tampered with our nuclear capability. Supposedly infallible systems were incapacitated. An unknown force was at work. Military personnel observed it, but could not stop it. Security was breached at 3 U.S. nuclear installations. At each base, eyewitnesses reported seeing unidentified craft hovering above nuclear storage facilities.
The speed it took off with, I've seen F-16s fly high rates of speed. And this was here and gone from a dead still hover.
One of the installations was here, Wurtsmith Air Force Base in Oscoda, Michigan. The base is closed now, but in 1975, it was on 24-hour alert, armed and ready for a nuclear strike. In October of that year, the practiced routine was suddenly shattered by an alarm. Radar was picking up an unidentified craft advancing toward the base at a high rate of speed. This was not a drill.
This is Top Prop with an expedite scramble. Authentication time is 1906. Scramble.
Roger that.
On radar, the UFO appeared to be closing in fast, but jet interceptors could not locate any aircraft in the area. Author Barry Greenwood has spent nearly 20 years researching the 1975 incident.
There were at least a dozen U.S. and Canadian military bases that were overflown during a 3-week period in 1975.
According to this Defense Department memorandum, military personnel filed official sightings reports after visual and radar contact was established. In each case, the UFO appeared to be headed directly for nuclear weapons storage facilities.
The person writing the report stated that when one object came low over a weapons storage area, that it appeared to demonstrate a clear intent over this area, meaning it seemed to have intelligence. We've spoken to a number of eyewitnesses involved in the 75 incidents. They are all emphatic that what was seen was certainly not conventional aircraft.
One of the eyewitnesses to the Wurtsmith incident was civilian aircraft mechanic Rick Eberhardt. In 1975, he lived directly across from Wurtsmith's main gate.
One evening I went to bed approximately 1 o'clock. I was awakened in the morning by a bright, glowing orange colored light that was coming in through our sliding glass doors. Bright orange, glowing orange, fluorescent orange. I don't think I've ever seen orange that bright in my life. It lit up my house on the inside like we had the lights on. So I got up to investigate, went to the sliding room doors, looked out over the creek. There was a large, glowing orange oval-shaped object. To me, it looked like it was probably about 2 to 3 football field lengths long and a good couple wide. It hovered over there for, I'd say, good 3 to 4 minutes. And at that time, it sped off at a high rate of speed, heading away from the air base. I was scared. There was fear running through me, and I couldn't believe what I had seen.
Eberhardt's testimony is important because military eyewitnesses will not talk on the record.
It's very difficult to find military witnesses because they're, at the time, covered by regulations. They certainly cannot take a story like a UFO sighting and go running to the press with it. And I decided, along with several other researchers, to file Freedom of Information requests with the Pentagon, with the Air Force, with the bases involved to find out if there was some documentation as to what was occurring over these bases. And the Pentagon had advised the bases to invoke a Security Option 3 alert.
According to this Air Force document, the high-level security alert was ordered because, quote, penetration of sensitive areas during the hours of darkness have prompted the implementation of Security Option 3 at our northern tier bases, unquote. Sightings had occurred at Malmstrom, Wurtsmith, and Loring Air Force bases.
The reason this is so significant and interesting is that they seem to be focused on atomic weapons and some mysterious objects, which they call mystery helicopters. Some kind of unidentified objects were seen and tracked on radar flying around in areas where they had no business being. In fact, these bases, because of what they stood for, they were our massive retaliation capability, and therefore they were very high security bases with usually security police and guard dogs, barbed wire, alarm systems, all kinds of things that made them very highly secure bases. And that's why this is so significant, that whatever this was flying around could just penetrate all these defenses at will.
Timothy Good is the author of Above Top Secret. He believes the extent of the UFO invasion was far greater than the 3 incidents reported by the Air Force.
According to some researchers, and some people who have come forward, there were several occasions when UFOs hovered over the nuclear missile silos when it was shown on the control panel that the missile would not have been able to have been launched.
Could UFOs invade and neutralize America's missile launch capability? According to ufologists, they could, and did.
Malmstrom Air Force Base during the first week of November of '75 had several intrusions near missile silos, one involving an object which, according to one witness, hovered over the silo and somehow managed to change the tracking numbers on the missile. According to the witness, the missile had to be removed and retooled to make it work again. And to see this, not in UFO books, but in government military messages, was a real eye-opener. And I think that if the public had known that at the time, there would have been great alarm.
To the Air Force, Wurtsmith is a dinosaur whose extinction was made possible by the end of the Cold War. To ufologists, it's a silent reminder that UFOs have been among us and that their intent is clear.
So it's not the first time in UFO history, it won't be the last. There are lots of cases where these things were real and unexplained and flying in and out of these top security areas at will, and they had no control over it. This would cause them a serious problem. They can't say, we're defending you. They just can't. You know, it's beyond their capability, and they shouldn't be held to blame for this. I just wish they would be a little more candid about, with the public, about what goes on in these cases.
The United States Air Force continues to deny allegations that the 1975 sightings incapacitated our nuclear defense systems. But they do not deny that there was clear intent displayed by UFOs flying over Wurtsmith, Loring, and Malmstrom Air Force bases. Until next time, remember, no mystery is closed to an open mind. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.